no intro. No, that's kind of it. Oh. This is another video for King's War 3rd edition, and today we will be looking at the Order of the Green Lady. Now, as its name suggests, it is one of the many armies in the Green Lady's arsenal. You've got the forces of nature, you've kind of got the Trident realms of Nerdica, but that's a separate thing entirely. They do help, but they're more for themselves and for helping the environment in their own way rather than because the Green Lady says so and whatnot. You've got the Herd, which is more of a bestial sort of force, more beastmen and that sort of thing. And then you've got the Order of the Green Lady, which is more human, got a lot of knights and a few on foot sort of troops. Think of the Green Knight. It's kind of how they look, ornate armour but with a lot of greenery and a lot of stag horns on the helmets and stuff like that, essentially. So if you're following along at home, in the big main rulebook you'll need to be on page 285, and in the Uncharted Empire 3rd edition book you will need to be on page 39. They are a neutral faction. Their army special upgrade is Vial of Sacred Water. This unit gains the keyword Sacred Water. In addition, once per game, when given an order, this unit may remove D3 wounds of damage previously suffered. This unit's Vial of Water is then destroyed and cannot be used again for the remainder of the game, though the unit retains the Sacred Water keyword. That's useful in two ways. One, the Sacred Water keyword has one or two heroes which helps in certain ways. We'll get on to those. Also, the removal of damage is obviously useful. It also means they stay around a lot longer. Considering how this faction army works, that's kind of a good thing because you've then got a lot of regeneration as well in this faction, which ties into things. There is Deny the Demon, which is more of a special rule. The Brotherhood, Order of the Green Lady, because they're technically part of the Brotherhood, cannot ally with the following armies: Abyssal Dwarves, Forces of the Abyss. That's kind of more in the background with the campaign that was going a few years ago. But now it's kind of where the Brotherhood, you've got the traditional Brotherhood, see the last video, and you've got Order of Green Lady, these ones. First one is the Men-at-Arms Retainers. Speed 5, melee 4+, defense 4+. Troop 10 attacks, nerve 911, 70 points. Regiment 12 attacks, nerve 1315, 105 points. Horde 25 attacks, nerve 2022, 175 points. And they've got Headstrong and can take a Vial of Sacred Water for 10 points. I'd always take Vial of Sacred Water because it's giving them a bit more staying power than they would have normally if they didn't have it. I wouldn't take the Retainers as a troop, because even if you take a Vial of Sacred Water, because a nerve of 911 means you're not going to be around that long. Regiment is good. 105 points is about right. Well, 115 if you add the Vial on. That's about right. Horde, 185 with Vial. It's got really good nerve, good attacks. Yeah, they're not bad infantry. I mean, you can build your army around them, certainly. But to make the most out of them, you really want to give them a magic item, otherwise they're going to be a bit naff, I feel. Next we have Order of the Brotherhood on foot. Speed 5, melee 3+, defense 5+. These are kind of like paladin sort of characters on foot. Well, unit on foot. Troop, 10 attacks, nerve, 11-13, 95 points. Regiment, 12 attacks, nerve, 15-17, 145 points. They've got headstrong as well. I've noticed that a lot of units in this army has got headstrong. That's going to be something to notice. Can take a Vial of Sacred Water for 10 points. Again, always take a Vial of Sacred Water. Take them as a regiment, don't take them as a troop. Nerve of 11-13 is alright, but a nerve of 15-17 is a lot better, and 155 points with a Vial of Sacred Water. That's not bad. The main downside is obviously you are going to have to give them a magical item to give some sort of push, because yes, they hit on 3s in close combat and they've got defense 5, but they've got no crushing strength or anything like that, so that's something you might have to think about. Next we have the Naiad Ensnarers, and they are irregular. Speed 5, melee 4+, defense 3+. Troop, 10 attacks, nerve 9-11, 90 points. Excuse me. Regiment, 12 attacks, nerve 13-15, 145 points. Horde, 25 attacks, nerve 20-22, 230 points. They've got Ensnare, Pathfinder and Regeneration 4+. Don't think they can take a Friendly Otter, because that's not a special upgrade for the Order of the Green Lady. Naiad Ensnarers are pretty good. I've said this before and I'll probably say it again. Yes, they've got low defense, but they've got Ensnare and Regeneration. The nerve isn't bad either, and the Pathfinder helps in some instances with terrain penalties and whatnot. Obviously you can't go a whole army of Naiad Ensnarers in this instance, which is a shame, but you could mix them about. Say have 1 or 2 hordes of men-at-arms retainers, because 185 points with pretty good nerve, headstrong and the Vial of Sacred Water, stays around objectives a fair bit, and then you've got the Naiad Ensnarers helping them along with that as well, which isn't a bad thing, never is. Next we have the range unit, and there's only one, the Naiad Heartpiercers. Speed 5, melee 5+, range 4+, defense 3+. Troop, 8 attacks, nerve 9-11, 120 points. Regiment, 10 attacks, nerve 13-15, 160 points. Regeneration 4+, and they've got harpoon guns, which is 18-inch range, piercing 1, steady aim. They're not bad. I'd take them as a troop, because the amount of tax difference you get when you're a regiment between the troop and the regiment just don't feel enough. Harpoon gun, yes, it's only 18-inch range rather than 24, but you can move and shoot with them, which kind of mitigates that range. Also, they've got regeneration, which means they are going to stay around a little bit longer than you might anticipate. Even if you take them as a troop, it's going to take a little bit longer for you to get rid of them. Also, because also because this army doesn't have any war machines, you could kind of count these as a micro war machine unit. So, because they've got piercing as well, for 120 points, that's not bad. Next we have the Cavalry, starting with the Order of the Brotherhood. Speed 8, melee 3+, defense 5+. Regiment, 16 attacks, nerve 15-17, 200 points. Horde, 32 attacks, nerve 22-24, 340 points. Not cheap. Headstrong, Thunderous Charge 2. They can take a Vial of Sacred Water for 10 points. Upgrade to the Banner of the Green Lady. You can only have 1 of these in your force. This unit gains Pathfinder for 15 points for a regiment, 20 points for a horde. I'd probably take that on a horde. The amount of attacks you're pushing out there, you might as well go all out there and make sure you get where you need to go and get there pretty sharpish. Other than that, they feel very standard cavalry wise. They've got great thunderous charge, they've got headstrong, hitting threes in close combat, great number of attacks. But that's really it. It really, they're not really amazing in terms of standing out. I mean, they're good. Don't get me wrong, they are good. But if you'd ask me of something that stood out, the Order of the Brotherhood just doesn't. It kind of feels like the Basilean Paladin Knights, but except without Iron Resolve, but you can take a little bit of healing for a turn. Next we have Order of Redemption, which are irregular. Speed 8, melee 3+, defense 5+. Troop 10 attacks, nerve 12-14, 165 points. Regiment 20 attacks, nerve 15-17, 250 points. Headstrong, inspiring, regeneration 5+, thunderous charge 2. I'd go for these mostly over the Order of the Brotherhood because the amount of attacks they get are slightly better. They've got regeneration, which is kind of like the Vial of Sacred Water built in. They're also inspiring, which means you can plonk them about and support other units a bit better. They've also got the thunderous charge as well. What you'd take the Order of the Brotherhood over these is that Order of the Brotherhood isn't a regular. You can horn them out if you want. A regiment of them is cheaper by 50 points. You've also got the upgrade to make them a Pathfinder unit, which is always helpful. Other than that, it's mainly the special rules that makes them stand out, really. Other than that, they're kind of similar. Next we have the Swarm. They are woodland critters and they are irregular. Speed 6, melee 5+, defense 2+. Regiment 12 attacks, nerve 9-11, 80 points. Horde 24 attacks, nerve 12-14, 130 points. They've got fly, nimble, pathfinder, vicious in melee. They're alright, I guess. They've got vicious in melee and pathfinder, which helps. They're more of a harassment unit than anything else, I would say. They're all a bit hit and miss otherwise. They've got real low defense. They're hitting close combat's a bit naff. I take them as a horde because taking them as a regiment's not going to get you anywhere because their attacks are just over average, I'd say, and the nerve is pretty bad. A horde can withstand a couple of turns before dying, and I'd say after they're dead they've probably done the job. They can fly, but they're only speed 6. I'd have thought they'd be a bit faster, but at the points cost you can kind of give and take with it. Next we have the large infantry. First we have the water elementals. The only difference between these water elementals and other water elementals is that they've got the waterbound, sacred water keyword, sorry, which can make sense in this force. So, speed 7, melee 4+, defense 5+. Regiment 9 attacks, nerve -14, 130 points. Horde 18 attacks, nerve -17, 220 points. They've got crush strength 1, regeneration 5+, shambling and strider. These are pretty decent. You could build an army of them, I suppose, if you wanted. The downside is they've got shambling, which some people have argued that shambling is a good rule because if you get a good enough surge, you can charge into close combat when your opponent's really least expecting it, which is a good point. They've got regeneration, which again is good attacks, good defense. They've got crusher strength, and they're fearless, which is always a good side. Downside, really the only downside is, I suppose, hitting on 4s is a little bit of a downside, and shambling to a degree is a little bit of a downside. Also, if you take them as a regiment, their nerve is not brilliant. From using similar sort of units, their nerve isn't going to last all game. You're going to have to be careful how to use them. However, they have got Strider and Speed 7, which means they are going to get along pretty quickly. Next we have the Earth Elementals. Speed 5, melee 4 plus, defense 6 plus. Regiment 9 attacks, nerve, dash 15, 130 points. Horde 18 attacks, nerve, dash 18, 220 points. Brutal, crush strength 1, pathfinder and shambling. These are a unit that isn't going to move that much. I have faced earth elementals so many times and they are evil to shift. The only big downside is that they are slow. Other than that, I mean, they're not that bad. I mean, like I've said for the earth elemental, shambling can be a bad side, but if you get good surge off, shambling can be a good thing. So, and they're the same points cost as the water elementals. That's the thing. The water elementals. The water elementals are faster and can regenerate, but the earth elementals are just a lot more defensive and can punch a little bit harder. Next we have the Lodge Cavalry. Order of Forsaken, and they are irregular. Speed 10, melee 3 plus, defense 5 plus. Regiment 9 attacks, nerve 12, 14, 155 points. Horde 18 attacks, nerve 15, 17, 255 points. So 100 points difference there. Yeah. Fly, headstrong, thunderous charge 2, and can take valid sacred water for 10 points. Again, always take the valid sacred water. They are good harassment unit. They've got thunderous charge, which is really great. Hit on 3s in close combat. Tags ain't bad. Nerve, little bit low for a regiment, but pretty good for a horde, I'd say. Headstrong also helps a lot. Like any sort of cavalry unit of this sort of ilk, if you don't get them off on the charge, they are going to struggle a little bit. So that's something you've got to watch out for. You need to get the charges off. If they're being charged, then they are going to just die. Simple as that. Next we have the monsters, starting with the Great Water Elemental. The only difference between this water elemental and other water elementals is the Sacred Water keyword. Speed 7, melee 4 plus, defense 5 plus. 8 attacks, nerve, dash 18, 180 points. Crush strength 2, regeneration 5 plus, shambling and strider. Again, nothing really much to say about this other than it's really, really good. It's got good speed, it's got pretty good attacks. The only thing I'd say is I'd rather have it with 10 attacks if it were me. But 8 attacks is still above still above 5. Anything above 5 or 6 attacks is not bad in my book when it comes to like monsters or big heroes or whatnot. Good nerve, it's got regeneration, it's got strider. It's pretty good. Next we have the Beast of Nature. Speed 7, melee 3 plus, defense 5 plus. 5 attacks, nerve 15, 17, 150 points. Crush strength 2, pathfinder and vicious. You can give it the ranged attack, Noxious Mist, which is 12-inch range, 10 attacks, range 4 plus, steady aim, 15 points. Not bad. Upgrade with wings, increasing speed to 10 and gaining fly and nimble for 40 points. Expensive, but I feel is worth it because at least you can get on the flanking and lay some Noxious Mist down on your opponents or maybe charge in on the flank pretty easily. So there's an option. Increase attacks to 7 for 15 points. A little bit expensive, but it's above the average, I'd say, so maybe consider it. If you give them all the upgrades, it makes it 40 points more than the Great Water Elemental, but in a way it's slightly better because it'd be faster, it would be able to fly, it'd have a range attack, but it doesn't regenerate and its nerves not quite as good. And it's not as fierce like the Water Elemental. So there's them things to consider. Next we have the Pegasus. Speed 10, melee 3 plus, defense 4 plus. 3 attacks, nerve, 10, 12, 80 points. Fly, pathfinder, thunderous charge 1. It's got fly. Other than that, I don't see the point of having the Pegasus. It's 80 points worth of meh. I mean, you can almost fit two. You got 2 Pegasus and 20 points left, well, 40 points left over, no, it is 20 points left over, then, or you could have a Greater Water Elemental. I just don't see the point. It's slightly cheap, but them 80 points, what you get for them 80 points? A troop of men-at-arms retainers. No. Oh, hang on. Nine and snares. Yes, it's 10 points more, but I'd rather have a troop of nine and snares than a Pegasus. Sorry, yeah, a Pegasus any day of the week. I don't rate the Pegasus whatsoever. Next we have the Titans, or Titan in this case. The Greater Earth Elemental. Speed 6, melee 4 plus, defense 6 plus. 12 attacks, nerve, dash 19, 230 points. Brutal, crush strength 3, shambling and strider. Only real downside is that it's a bit slow. And shambling could be considered a downside unless you've got good surge roll going off, in which it's only an upside. Its nerve is fantastic, its attacks is fantastic. It's really good points value. I'd argue it's probably about 20-30 points a bit too cheap for me. But again, it's 50 points cheaper than the Greater Water Elemental and 10 points cheaper, 10 points more expensive, sorry, than the Beast of Nature with all its upgrades. So, that's the thing. You're going between this, the Greater Water Elemental, and the Beast of Nature. The Beast of Nature, if you take the upgrades, can fly and can have a ranged attack. The Water Elemental has got regeneration, and it's second fastest. The Earth Elemental can hit really hard, has got good defense and the best attacks and the best nerve. So it's a great big rock monster. You want one. You need one. Starting with the Exemplar Redeemer. Hero Cavalry. Speed 8, melee 3 plus, defense 5 plus. 7 attacks, nerve 13-15, 180 points. Crush strength 2, headstrong, individual, inspiring mighty, regeneration 5 plus. Mount on a winged unicorn, losing individual and mighty, but gaining fly, nimble, as well as increasing speed to 10 and changing to hero large cavalry for 25 points. I would maybe consider that. Reason being is that you then get flank and rear charge bonuses. 7 attacks with Crusher Strength 2, hitting on 3s with regeneration 5 plus. It does make it rather tempting. Yeah, it's a hero I'd possibly consider. Next we have the Exemplar of the Brotherhood. Speed hero infantry, by the way. Speed 5, melee 3 plus, defense 5 plus. 3 attacks, nerve 11-13, 50 points. Crush strength 1, headstrong, individual. Mount on the horse, increases speed to 8 and changing hero cavalry for 25 points. And can take a Valor Sacred Water for 10 points. It's a cheap hero. I mean, if you put him on a horse, makes him 75. Valor Sacred Water, well, if you don't do that. It's 5 points less than a Pegasus. Yeah. Thing is, if you take an Exemplar of the Brotherhood, you might as well take the Pegasus. I suppose a Valor of Sacred Water and a horse only makes it 5 points more than a Pegasus, but you can't fly. I'd go for a Pegasus. You might as well. Next we have the Devoted. Hero Infantry, Spellcaster rank 1. Speed 5, melee 5 plus, defense 4 plus. 1 attack, nerve 11-13, 60 points. Bit better nerve than most spellcasting heroes have got, I've got to say. Individual, headstrong. Heal 3. Starting spell. Mount on a forest steed, increasing speed to 9 and changing to hero cavalry for 25 points. Why not? Gain Radiance of Life, Sacred Water only. You can only have one of these in your force for 15 points. I'd always take one of these. Icy Breath 6 for 20 points, or 3 for replaces heal. Yeah, maybe. Surge 7 for 25 points. I would have one with the Radiance of Life and definitely give all of them the Surge option. Maybe Icy Breath. The thing is, they ain't slow. This force, apart from the Earth Elementals, they ain't that slow. So, Ice Breath is still a nice option, but I feel it's a little bit expensive for my tastes. Mount on the Forest Steed, well, it makes them faster. It makes them expensive with the upgrades though. You're talking 125 points if you have a Steed, Surge and Radiance of Life. But you only have one with Radiance of Life, so you could possibly just take Surges on all the others. The only reason you'd take all 3 upgrades instead of just the Radiance of Life is you want it to move around doing the Radiance of Life wherever possible. Remember, the Sacred Water units are going to be healing or got regeneration, unless you're a Naiad. So the more healing they've got, the harder it is they're going to shift. Be shifted, sorry. So it's something to really think about. Next we have the Exemplar adjacent. Hero Infantry, and I've probably messed that name up. Speed 5, melee 5+, defense 4+. 1 attack, nerve, 10, 12, 50 points. Headstrong, individual, inspiring. Now mount on the horse, increasing speed to 8 and changing hero cavalry for 25 points. It's a cheap hero that gives inspiring. You've heard me say it before. I don't much care for them. People have said they like them, so make of that what you will. There's units in here that can give inspiring that's worth it better. So I'd save on the points. Next we have the Druid. Hero Infantry, Spellcaster rank 1. Speed 5, melee 5+, defense 4+. 1 attack, nerve, 10, 12, 65 points. Individual, inspiring and Pathfinder, and it's got heal 2 for free. Mount on the Forest Steed, increases speed to 9 and changes to hero cavalry for 25 points. Maybe. Bane Chant 2 for 20 points. Not bad. Lightning Bolt 2 for 10 points. Surge 4 for 10 points. Wind Blast 2 for 15 points. I'd probably consider the Surge 4. It's not good as the Surge 7 of the Devoted, but it's only 10 points, so that's 75 points. It's not bad. It means you get a lot more surges off. You get your elementals going at full pelt a lot quicker. So maybe consider taking a few druids. The Bane Chant is always a good thing, especially. The thing is, this can be your support option for your cavalry and your on foot units. You have your druids can casting Bane Chant on them. So you've got some crushing strength going off. Or alternatively, you could cast it on the Naiad Heart Piercers and give it an extra blow, potentially, of piercing. So it gives them piercing 2, which is ridiculous. Especially in this force, there's a lot of options for the druid to do. A lot of options. Next, we have the Naiad Stalker. Hero Infantry. Speed 6, melee 3+, range 4+, defense 4+. 4 attacks, nerve 11, 13, 95 points. Crush strength 1, ensnare, individual, inspiring self only. Pathfinder, regeneration 4+, and stealthy. Has got a harpoon gun, which is 18-inch range, and it's got piercing 1. I'm assuming it's supposed to have steady aim like the other harpoons guns have. I'm assuming this is a typing error. Apart from being an harassment unit, I can't see much point in the Naiad Stalker. You want to just harass with the harpoon gun as much as possible. You've got stealthy, which helps a lot. You could use it as a mini war machine. It's the same points cost as some war machines, so maybe consider it. Finally, we have the unique units, and there is only one. It is the Avatar of the Green Lady. kind of obvious because this is the Order of the Green Lady, so it'd be weird if it weren't there. Hero Infantry, Spellcaster rank 3. Speed 10, melee 5+, defense 5+. 1 attack, nerve 1315, 185 points. Fly, individual, regeneration 5+, inspiring. Balance, at the start of each of your turns, you may choose for this unit to either have Cloak of Death or Agents of Life. So it gives it some options to heal your units or hinder your opponents. The only way to get Cloak of Death off well for this character is fly near units where the backs are turned. Other than that, I think she's just going to get charged and die. She's got heal 6 also, which has got some help to it. If she had a few more spells, I'd say maybe. Make it to 220, 30, 50 points or so and give her some really nice spells. She's got the balance thing, which is nice. She's got the heal 6, which is really nice. And she can fly, which is great. I can't seem... But then again, the heal 6 and the balance thing does work into this army quite well. So yeah, okay, I can see people taking it. I can see people taking it quite a bit. I have done this video quite a few times and I really didn't know how to sum them up. The reason being is they feel so much like a lackluster Basilian force, and they feel a lot like the other Brotherhood force. However, you need to look a little bit deeper to see what the differences are. They've got a lot of regeneration, they've got some minor healing going off, and they've got a fair few units that can support, well, heroes that can support them. So, which means in objective games, they could possibly be one of the hardest forces in the game to shift. I mean, you can take earth elementals and water elementals and complement them with druids, devoted and cavalry, so they can do the flanking manoeuvres, and the earth elementals just bust forward, take the wounds and not care. You could have some range support in there with the Nard Heart Piercers. Treat them as mini war machines. Hell, you've got the Nard Stalkers, which in most other lists I don't think get a look in, but in this list, again, use it as a mini war machine. It will help it a lot. Chip down at your enemies while heal yourself up. That is the main point I can see in a Order of the Free Lady force. They are a hard to kill force that needs everything to mesh together to work correctly. So that's it for this video. Goodbye for now.